Welcome, everybody, to Goose, Pimples, a show where I, Paul Breeden, am joined by my wonderful cousin,
Eric Arterbridge,
to delve into the creepy and skin-crawling stories that keep us up at night. Eric, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm still a little bit sick, but other than that, all right.
Well, let me ask you a question. Last time we got into murder and ghouls and ghosts.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about aliens?
I think the truth is out there. And I think the aliens are among us.
Do you?
Already, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
Ryan.
What Sylvia Brown says.
Your brother, Ryan Arterbridge, is one of them.
Yeah, that's true, though.
Well, let me ask you a question. Does the name Travis Walton ring a bell to you?
I don't know. Was he on that TV show, The Waltons?
Yes. And he was also the main character in a movie called Fire in the Sky. Do you remember that?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw that movie, but I remember it from when I was a kid.
Yeah, I do too. And I remember it used to creep me the hell out. And that's kind of what made me want to look into this. And it turned out pretty good.
So that movie is based on a true story?
That movie is based on a book
and allegedly
that's based on a true story. Yes, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes. So in November of 1975, Travis Walton and 6 other men, Mike Rogers, Alan Dalis, John Goulet, Ken Peterson, Steve Pierce, and Dwayne Smith all spent the day working a tree trimming job in the woods of Turkey Springs, Arizona.
Okay.
Turkey Springs. You been there?
I haven't been there.
It's beautiful in summer.
I have been on a trip trimming trees with 6 other men, though.
Okay, good. Then you have a frame of reference for this story.
Yes.
All right, well, sometime after 6 p.m., just before the sun set, Travis and his coworkers decided to load up their truck and head home out of the woods. On the ride back, something caught Travis's attention. Some sort of yellow glow that the men couldn't make out at first glance.
Uh-oh.
They believed it was either a fire or quite possibly a plane crash and decided to head towards the strange light to see if there was anything they could do to help. Now, the first thing that you should always do if you see a strange glowing light in the woods is drive directly towards it. Right?
That's right. That's right. You got to see what's going on in the woods. You never know.
That's Boy Scouts 101.
Yep.
As they grew nearer, they realized this was no fire and it was no plane.
So I guess fire in the sky is a little misleading.
Yeah, fire in the sky is a little misleading.
Okay.
They should have maybe went with weird, glowing, yellowish light in the sky. But I don't know that sells books, Eric. I don't know that you can get away with that title.
There's only one way to find out.
Travis described what he saw as, quote, the most amazing, incredible sight we had ever seen in our entire lives. It was a flying saucer.
I think he just transformed into a different person.
I think, well, that's my impression of anyone that's ever been abducted by aliens.
Okay, that's fair.
Flying stationary, about 20 feet off the ground, at about 15 to 25 feet in diameter, the men described 2 pie tins placed lip to lip with a small bowl flipped upside down on the top.
What?
That's what they claim they saw. So if you know a pie tin?
Yeah.
So imagine 2 pie tins together, lip to lip, so one on top of the other.
Okay.
And then a little bowl on top of that, and that's what they saw. So basically, they saw everyone's depiction of a UFO probably up until 1975.
Oh, that makes sense. You know what's weird? Last night I had a dream that I was trying to find loaf pans, and I was looking in my kitchen, and I was like, oh, here's a couple loaf pans, but then when I looked inside of them, they had holes in the bottom that were like, they were manufactured that way, and I was like, I don't think I can bake bread in this loaf pan if it has holes in the bottom. But what else would I use this for? Huh. Weird
so what'd you use it for?
Well,
it's your dream. The world's your oyster.
That's true in reality too. But I just kept looking for loaf pans that didn't have holes until I woke up. And that's it.
Have you ever had a lucid dream?
What do you mean by that?
So a lucid dream is when you have a dream that you are aware it's a dream while you're having it. Have you ever had that happen?
I think so. I think that I have had that, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll have to do an episode on lucid dreaming and sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
All right.
Out of body experience.
I'm putting it down. Coming
Thank
soon.
you.
Coming soon to a podcast near you.
Thank you.
Where was I at here? Travis, apparently a curious man, decided that he needed a closer look at this unidentified flying object. So he walked directly under it and stared upwards.
No.
As he examined the craft in an apparent awe, it began to shake and wobble, emitting various strange noises. The craft did. Not Travis. Travis ducked into a crouch and took cover. Travis ducked into a crouch and took cover and was hit with a bright bluish-green ray of light.
Oh, that sounds soothing.
Yeah, well, it wasn't, because the light rendered Travis completely paralyzed, and he dropped to the ground limp and motionless.
Oh, my God.
Some of the others said that they thought for sure Travis was dead. They all hopped back in their truck, and they hightailed it out of there, leaving Travis's lifeless body behind in the woods.
Oh, what good friends. Deuces, I'm out of here. You got him, you ain't getting me.
Travis was gone. For the next 5 days, panic and hysteria broke out in the men's hometown of Snowflake, Arizona.
Oh, that's because they're a bunch of snowflakes. That's the problem.
People began to accuse the team of murder. No one believed, get this, no one believed that the story of a UFO killing Travis was true.
Oh.
And even worse, his body was nowhere to be found.
That's because he was getting probed.
Right. Now the whole thing, as I was investigating this story, I was kind of getting a vibe of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But this is the weird part. During Travis's disappearance, the men were polygraphed. And the polygraph records are available, courtesy of the Arizona Department of Public Safety. And I have those polygraph results right here. Would you like to hear them?
You are not the father. Yeah, tell me.
Okay, so these are the questions that were asked to all 6 men. Question number 1 was, did you cause Travis Walton any serious injury last Wednesday afternoon? Question 2 is, do you know if Travis Walton was physically injured by some other member of your work crew last Wednesday? Question 3, do you know if Travis Walton's body is buried or hidden somewhere in the Turkey Springs area? And question 4 is, did you tell the truth about actually seeing a UFO last Wednesday when Travis Walton disappeared? When the test results came back, all 6 men answered no to question number 1, 2, and 3.
Uh-oh.
And all 6 men answered yes to question number 4. So basically, all 6 of them said that they did not harm Travis, they did not know of anyone else harming Travis, and they did not know if his body was buried or hidden in Turkey Springs. They all said yes, that they actually believed they saw a UFO. All test results other than Dayless's were conclusive. The records say, based on the polygraph chart tracing, it is the opinion of the examiner that Goulet, Smith, Peterson, Rogers, and Pierce were all being truthful when they answered these relevant questions. These polygraph examinations prove that these 5 men did see some object that they believed to be a UFO, and that Travis Walton was not injured or murdered by any of these men on Wednesday, 11/5/1975. If an actual UFO did not exist, and the UFO is a man-made hoax, 5 of these men had no prior knowledge of the hoax. No such determination can be made as the 6 men's test results were inconclusive. So basically, what they're saying is 5 out of the 6 people here, their test results came back completely clean. They were telling the truth. The other guy, it wasn't saying that he was lying. It was just saying that the results were inconclusive. So.
Right. But also, this is 1975, so who knows what kind of drugs they were on while they were out in the woods.
That's not
their orgy.
That's actually not a bad point. Everybody was on something in 1975.
That's right.
Just ask your parents.
Yeah, they might have taken a little acid. Maybe I forget his name, the dead guy, had a little too much and passed out in the woods.
Travis
Parker, yeah. And, and then everybody else thought they saw a UFO. 2 pie tins and a bowl.
It is weird. And it could be. I mean, quite possibly they may have been on something. But isn't it weird that they all believe it was a UFO? Like, so much so that they were able to pass a polygraph test saying so? Even if it was a hoax, right? Even if this sixth guy was in on something with Travis, what could these 2 have possibly pulled off to make 5 other guys think that they saw a real-life UFO?
That's a great question. I don't know. But the power of suggestion can be pretty strong.
And the power of acid can...
Right. But it also might have been a UFO. I don't know. All right, we'll keep going. So what happened
It may have
next?
been. So after 5 days, the phone rang at Travis's brother's home. It was Travis. He was calling from a payphone 15 miles away from the work site.
Uh-oh.
In 5 days, he lost 12 pounds, and at first was completely unable to explain where he had been. I guess through hypnosis and therapy, he was able to recount his extraterrestrial adventures. He claims that he woke up lying on his back, and that he was on a table looking up at a rectangular light fixture. He was still in all of his work clothes, although he noticed his shirt and jacket had been pushed up towards his shoulders, exposing his chest and abdomen.
Oh.
Pretty classic alien stuff so far.
Yeah.
He remembers thinking his friends had taken him to the hospital. It wasn't until he was able to focus and see strange, blurry figures surrounding him that he realized this was not a hospital, and these were not doctors. They were all wearing surgical masks and orange gowns, though.
Oh.
He quickly realized, to his horror, that the doctors all had huge brown eyes the size of quarters, and their bodies seemed like thin bones covered in marshmallowy flesh.
Mm.
He says that the creatures had no fingernails, their hands were small and delicate, like the president's. They were completely hairless. Their heads were disproportionately large for their bodies, and they had underdeveloped features on their faces. I saw drawings of the way he described these aliens, and it's pretty much like standard, like 70s alien movie aliens. Like, he described them. And I don't know, I mean, this is so long ago, maybe that's where the idea of what aliens look like came from. Maybe he started it. What do I know?
I don't know. I feel like they've been around for a long time before that.
Well, yeah, I guess so. When was Roswell?
That was like the 50s, I think.
Right. So he's explaining what he's seen. But if what the other people have explained is what aliens look like, and he was abducted by the same aliens, maybe it's true. I don't know. I do want to say that as much as the idea of like ghosts and haunted places freak me out, the idea of being abducted by aliens, like lifted through your roof into a spaceship and taken off all by yourself, I think that's completely terrifying. Like, way more so than ghosts and ghouls and any of that stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. I think it's all terrifying. But yeah, I think being abducted by anybody is scary, but by other life forms that can take you to another planet is probably the scariest.
Well, yeah, and I think it's the idea that they are quite possibly so much smarter than you,
Well, I don't know about all that.
Travis says that he was able to get off the table and lunge at the aliens, scaring them off, leaving him alone in the room. Oh. So according to him, he got off the table.
Hold on. I just have a mental image of these little gray aliens scurrying out of the room through various doors.
He claims that he was able to walk around the ship and poke around a bit before running into what appeared to be a human man. The human man took him to a room that contained 2 other humans, this time a man and a woman.
Oh.
The woman placed a device over his face, and he slowly faded away.
Chloroform.
Yeah. Alien chloroform.
Yeah.
The next thing Travis remembers is waking up on the pavement in Huber, Arizona. He claims that he woke up just soon enough to turn and see the light disappearing into the sky. To this day, none of the men present at the abduction have come forth with any story other than what they gave originally.
Huh.
Travis, on the other hand, he's made a mint off of this abduction. He has had a major motion picture and a book based on the story, both titled Fire in the Sky, as well as a self-made documentary. And he makes frequent appearances at UFO and extraterrestrial conventions. One of the most interesting things that I found in my investigation for this story, Eric, is Travis Walton went on a TV show called The Moment of Truth. Do you remember this show?
No. It sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, The Moment of Truth was a Fox game show where you take a lie detector test before the show, and during the show, the host just asks you questions, and if you answer truthfully, you win money. If you lie, then you're out.
Yeah, I remember.
So in 2008, Travis Walton decided to test his luck on The Moment of Truth.
Uh-oh.
He appeared on the game show, and on the show, question number 15 for a chance to win $100,000 was, were you abducted by a UFO on November 5th, 1975?
And what did he say?
Well, I'm going to play the clip for you right now, and you can hear it for yourself. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Is simply this. Were you abducted by a UFO on November 5th, 1975?
I love it.
Yes.
He's a very stern.
That answer is false.
Well,
So that's it for a chance to win $100,000. He couldn't pull through. He couldn't bring himself to, I guess, admit that it didn't really happen.
But look, if you go on the show, you know that they're going to ask you this question. So either one, he really believes he was abducted and the lie detector test just gave an answer that doesn't coincide with that. Or he thinks that he can beat a lie detector test.
Well, and I mean, you have to, if you built your life around this story, right?
Right.
I'm sure he's made more than $100,000 already off the movie and the book and the documentary and all the appearances. Why would you risk all of that if you don't think that it's A, true, or that you can beat the lie detector test, like you said?
Right. So I think that he either he really believes it happened to him, or he really thought that he could beat this lie detector test. But so here's my question: everybody else, when this first happened, you said took a lie detector test and passed, except for one person who was, what's the word you said?
His answers were inconclusive.
Inconclusive, right. So did Travis ever take a lie detector test around this time after he came back from allegedly being abducted?
No. As far as I can tell, the only lie detector test that Travis Walton ever took was on Fox's Moment of Truth game show.
Okay.
And I think the reason for that is once he came back, it was no longer criminal investigation, you know?
True.
These other guys were, I think they were forced to take the lie detector test because they were under investigation.
That makes sense.
For possible murder.
Yeah.
But you would think, again, if it really did happen to you, you'd be willing to, you'd want to take that lie detector test as soon as possible so you can kind of hush all the doubters.
Yeah, hush. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my point is, why would you go on the show if you thought there was any risk that they wouldn't be able to, corroborate your story somehow?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I will say this. At the end of the show, he was asked if he had anything he'd like to say. And Travis simply reminded the crowd that lie detector tests are only 97% accurate, not 100%.
Roll the clip.
I don't have the clip lined up. But I mean, he's got a point. Maybe it's just a fluke occurrence. I mean, who knows what kind of experts Fox is flying in for their game shows? Can we really believe that Fox is bringing in, Murray level?
It's Murray.
Murray. No, but that's it. I don't know. If it was a hoax, it seems like it's paid off for him thus far. He's kind of made a career out of it.
I would say it's paid off, yeah.
If it's not a hoax, I mean, good for him. If you have to go through something that terrifying, might as well make some money off of it, right?
That's true.
Well, that's it for Fire in the Sky. That's it for Travis Walton. We'll keep you up to date on any developing. I don't know. This is it for this story.
You better roll that one again.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Listen, if Fire in the Sky or Travis Walton gave you Goose Pimples, do us a favor and tell a friend, share with somebody, let somebody know about the podcast. And if you would like to share one of your stories on Goose Pimples, you can send us an email over at goosepimplespodcast.com or share it on Twitter using the Pimplecast hashtag. Eric?
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it for this.
Okay, bye-bye.